Hello students, in this video we will be discussing on the chapter transport of food and minerals in plants. Okay, so the transport of food and minerals in plants is very important because plants, they may be very tall, okay, trees like this. They need to derive the water and minerals from the soil through the roots, and these have to reach to the high above the ground on the branches, leaves, and so on. On the other hand, there are also smaller shrubs, herbs, aquatic plants. All of these require to transport the food from the leaf to the various parts of the plant and water and minerals from the soil to the upper parts of the plant. There are also different physical mechanisms by which this transport takes place. Let us see one by one. There are the two methods by which the transport of these food and water materials take place. One is diffusion and the other is osmosis. Okay, diffusion and osmosis. Let us see what is diffusion. Diffusion means it is the movement of the molecules from a region of high concentration to low concentration until equilibrium is reached. So as you are seeing here in this glass of water, there are different color dyes. When we add that, what was happening? They are diffusing in the water. That is, they are distributing themselves. They are moving randomly. Okay, so diffusion is a random movement. Okay, random movement from where to where? From a place where there is a high concentration. Okay, here we drop the ink and it was moving to a region where there is almost no ink. Okay, so there is a natural movement, so we call this as a diffusion. In plants, here what we are seeing is a transverse section of a leaf. Okay, it is a transverse section of a leaf. So inside the leaf there is a water which the content of that water or water vapor is much higher than that in the atmosphere. So what is happening through stomata? Okay, through stomata, this water vapor is escaping from the leaves to the outer atmosphere. What about carbon dioxide? The level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is higher than that inside the leaf. Correct? Because you know very well that the plants, by photosynthesis, they will produce oxygen. Okay, they require the carbon dioxide. So how can the leaf get the carbon dioxide? The concentration of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, okay, in the atmosphere is much higher than inside the leaf. So what is going to happen? The carbon dioxide is going to diffuse through the stomata, okay, inside the leaf. Okay, so this is what is diffusion, in which there is a movement of the molecules from a region of the high concentration to low concentration. Let us compare that with the process of osmosis. Okay, osmosis. What does the definition say? The movement of water molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, this is very important. Through a semi-permeable membrane. So basically what is happening is, considering that we have water in this compartment and this is a semi-permeable membrane, okay, this is the semi-permeable membrane, the water molecules are able to pass through the pores, okay, these are the pores, okay, through these pores the water molecules are able to pass through. And what we are seeing here, these are nothing but the other sugar molecules, salts and so on, okay. The concentration of these molecules is very high here, that is, for example, sugars and salts are very high on this side. Here there are no sugar and salts. What is moving here? Water is moving, okay, water molecules. So is the salt or sugars moving through the semi permeable membrane? No. Okay, so this is very important point. Most of the students they confuse here. So you need to pay attention that in diffusion, what is moving? The molecules, okay, which are not the solvent, they are the solute, okay. Here what is moving? This is the solvent molecules. So whatever the molecules like sugars and salts, minerals, they are dissolved in water. So here what is moving? Water is moving from a region where there is a low concentration of what? Sugars and salts, to another region where there is a higher concentration of the sugars and salts, okay. So now let us try to understand it through an experiment. This is a potato osmoscope, okay. Potato osmoscope means nothing but we are studying the process of osmosis, okay. Now here what are the things? Here we have the potato, okay. This potato is cut in such a way that this is like a cavity, there is a well, okay, here there is a well, okay. So what is being done is, this is the water, okay. We have placed this potato that is cut in such a way that in between this potato we have made a cavity or hole, and we have placed it in a beaker full of water, okay. Now what we do is we add some sugar solution to this. This is the sugar solution. So what you can do is you can take some sugar, okay, a tablespoon of sugar, dissolve it in water, and then you put it inside this potato, okay, such that it is almost the same level of the water that is outside. You can also put a pin or marker here just to know that this is the starting point of the water level, okay. Then after some time what we see is, outside you see this is the water level initially in the beaker. Now the water level has reduced, okay. The water level came down and the water level inside this potato increased, okay. This is the height, it has increased, okay, this much height it has increased. So what has happened? Why did the water in the beaker move from outside to inside the potato? Inside the potato we added the sugar solution. So the concentration of the sugar is high inside the potato here. Outside there is no sugar. So what is going to move? Water molecules are moving through this potato inside here, okay. So you can consider this to be a semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable because it is not allowing everything to pass through. It is only allowing some things. Okay. So here it is allowing the water to pass through, but it is not allowing the sugar to come outside. Or if you add some sugar outside, that cannot go inside the potato. Okay. So the water molecules, they moved inside, and as a result what has happened? The level of the water inside the potato has increased. So here what has happened is there was a process of osmosis. Okay, there is a process of osmosis. So in order to understand this concept further, let us try to solve some questions. Can you guess the movement of water in and out of the cell is mainly by what process? The movement of water in and out of the cell is by what process? So considering that this is a cell, okay, and you know the cell is covered by a cell membrane, correct? So what I am asking is, if water has to go from inside the cell to outside and from outside the cell to inside, what process it will be? It will be osmosis. Why? Because the movement of water molecules through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay. Next, the diffusion and osmosis occur in lower organisms like bacteria, chlamydomonas and spirogyra, tall trees and animals. Is this statement true or false? So in the textbook, it is given that osmosis, diffusion, okay, they are taking place in bacteria, chlamydomonas and spirogyra. But because it is not mentioned tall trees and animal, it doesn't mean that these processes are not taking place in the tall trees and animals. Okay, the process of diffusion and osmosis occurs in the lower organisms, okay, as well as in the tall trees and animals. Okay, so it happens in all of these organisms. Onion peel is an example of semi-permeable membrane. So you must have observed that in the onion peel inside, you can, if you very delicately try to remember, if you remove, you will get a transparent kind of membrane from out of that. If you pull out, you will get a small transparent kind of film. Is it a semi-permeable? It is a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, it is a biological membrane. Okay, and biological membranes are all semi-permeable. Okay, we also say that they are selectively permeable. Okay, diffusion can occur across a membrane. Is this statement correct or not? Most of the students will say that diffusion cannot occur through a membrane. But here you need to remember that what is moving through the membrane? We are telling that water is moving through the membrane, right? If the size of the pores on this membrane are large enough, okay, then what is going to happen? The salts can also diffuse through it. Okay, so for example, suppose you have some sugar as well as some salt. For the sake of example, just I am showing you, like there are two size of molecules, A and B. B is very small, A is very large. The size of the pore in this membrane will allow the B to pass through it. Okay, but A cannot pass. Okay, so what we can say, that B is able to diffuse through this membrane. Okay, got my point? but the process by which water is going to the direction where the concentration of the salt or sugar is high, okay, is osmosis. What is the difference between endosmosis and exosmosis? Okay, so considering that there is a cell, okay, and if the water is moving inside the cell, okay, that is endosmosis, and if the water molecules are moving outside the cell, it is exoosmosis. Okay, so what is going to happen if there is a lot of endosmosis taking place? The cell will burst because it will get swell up, because lot of water is going inside, it will swell up and it will burst. If there is lot of exosmosis, then what is going to happen? There is going to be plasmolysis. Okay, the cell is going to shrink, it will shrink and it will result in plasmolysis. Now let us consider how this water and minerals are absorbed in the plants. You know very well that the absorption of water and mineral takes place in the roots. In the roots, there are very fine cells which are known as root hair. Okay, root hairs. So these very fine cells, very thin cells, okay, very thin cells. You can see the structure of the cell. This is the nucleus, and most of this is covered by, what is this? This is all vacuole. So you must remember the difference between plant cell, animal cell. In the plant cell, most of the cell is occupied by the vacuole, and whatever is enclosed, the liquid, salts and all things are there inside the vacuole, it constitutes the cell sap. Okay, it is known as the cell sap. Now these are the soil particles and this is the moisture or water that is there in the soil. What happens? The water that is there in the soil will move into the root hairs. Okay, it is moving from outside to inside, moving from outside to inside. Why? Because in the cell sap there is a high concentration of the minerals, salts. Okay, because they are there in a high concentration, the water will move from where to where? From the low concentration to high concentration. Got it? Okay, so then what is happening? The water is moving from the low concentration of the salt to the high concentration of the salt. Now it has entered into the root hair. This process is what we say osmosis. So osmosis is taking place in the root hair, okay, by which water is moving from the soil into the cell sap of the root hair. After that, this water that is taken up by the root hair will move through the cortical cells. Okay, this is the epidermis of the root, this part. Okay, this part is the epidermis of the root, and here to here we say that it is the cortex cells. Okay, cortex cells means cortex, they are the filler, they are the filler between the transport tissue which is the xylem. Okay, xylem and phloem are transport tissue. Xylem transports water and minerals, flow food. Okay, in that way you can remember. Okay, phloem food, xylem water and minerals. So water has to move from this root hairs up to the xylem. So what is going to happen? By the process of osmosis, the water has uh, entered into the root hair. What about the minerals? The transport of the minerals from outside to inside the cell is by the process of active transport. Okay, it is by the process of active transport. Why we are saying active transport? Active means it requires the spending energy. Okay, active, it is not passive, it is active. So energy in the cell is by ATP. Okay, ATP is the energy currency of the cell. Adenosine triphosphate is a chemical molecule. Okay, so it is the currency of the cell. So the cell need to spend this energy in the form of ATP. Then what is going to happen? The minerals can be taken from low concentration to high concentration. Okay, in the cell sap, so it has to go against the gradient. Okay, so that is the active transport for the minerals and passive transport for the water. Okay, the passive transport is the process of by the process of osmosis. Okay, now as these things are going on, okay, more and more water is entering. This creates a pressure. What it creates? It creates a pressure which is known as root pressure. Okay, so this root pressure is responsible for the movement of the water from the root hair up to little bit height in the plant. Okay, that pressure is not sufficient to send the water all the way up to the top of the plant. Okay, through the stems and leaves. That water is sufficient, that pressure, root pressure is sufficient for sending the water to few centimeters, maybe little bit height. So the water, once it has reached this xylem, okay, we will see in the further videos that the xylem is made up of the different types of cells. Okay, as you can see, this is more of a continuous kind of looks like a channel, looks like a tube. Okay, so the water can flow through these tubes all the way up to the leaves and stems and upper part of the plant. Okay, so in our next video we will be revising on the transport systems that are present in the plant, which includes the xylem for the transport of water and minerals and phloem, that is for the transport of food. Okay, thank you.